bro.
What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Isaiah, and I'm back. Yes, we're back here with my boy Vince.
I heard y'all liked the other video.
Yeah, so we're just back with another one, same setting. This time though, it's coming up on our 1 year anniversary for when we closed our first 6-figure deal. Was that your first 6-figure deal too, or no?
First full 6-figure deal, but not first 6-figure month, obviously.
Yeah. So,
but I will say I do close bigger bags, I think, than the average wholesaler. I would say that. Maybe.
Right, but very, very, very few people close 6-figure wholesale deals. So we're coming up on 1 year anniversary of when we closed our first 6-figure deal, and this month I just closed my second 6-figure deal, $100,000 in one wholesale fee. The first one was $100,000, right? We got to split $200,000, so we each got $100,000. But then this one, I got $100,500. So yeah, in this podcast, we just want to talk about how can you get a 6-figure assignment fee, $100,000 or more in one assignment fee. It's not uncommon. I'm in a mastermind right now. This other dude, he did a wholesale deal for $150,000, one wholesale fee, all to him. So we're just gonna go over how we got ours and how I got my second one and how you could get one too. So let's talk about the first time we closed a 6-figure deal.
Should we drop these gems, man? I can't believe we're giving this for free, bro.
It is. This is free game.
Listen up, guys.
I want y'all to close 6 figures in one wholesale transaction. It's life changing, absolutely. So to get into the meat and bones of how we got our first deal, so the first 6-figure deal was from text blasting. It was my first time ever text blasting. I paid him as a mentor to teach me how to start paying for marketing because he was doing it and it was working for him. So he basically just showed me how to use Roar. So it's ROOR.com or something. And basically it's just text blast. It's basically for beginners, but because it's kind of expensive and you don't know that it's expensive as a beginner. But that's what I use, and we pulled a code violation city list. It was in University Park, so that's like one of the richest neighborhoods in Dallas, like period, is University Park. And I think that was the secret. That's the key to getting bigger wholesale fees is higher price point homes. Some people don't like to touch $1 million homes, but so far, this is my second 6-figure deal from $1 million.
You know what that reminds me of? If you guys have ever watched, what's that movie called? The Blue People?
Smurfs?
No, not the Smurfs. The Igbo or whatever. The Blue People, the big blue people that they're like in tune with the forest.
Oh, Avatar.
So in Avatar, the big, they had to conquer the birds, right? And these are big bad birds, and they flew over everybody, right? And the person was like, well, how can I conquer this bird? It's like, well, there's one thing the bird doesn't do because it's the biggest, baddest bird, and what's that?
Doesn't give up easily? It
doesn't look up.
Oh, it doesn't
because it thinks it's the highest.
Oh.
Right? So same concept with wholesaling, real estate, is most people are not going to look at those high deals, right? So it's the same concept. You want to look for an older neighborhood with very expensive homes. A lot of those people inherit those homes. That's what I found out. And there's a lot of it's a culture. It's a rich culture. That's what I found. So I would say figure out a way to be known in that those neighborhoods.
Yeah. And speaking on not looking up, I used to be scared to talk about millions of dollars. Like when I was in Houston and I was cold calling on Zillow, or even when I had lists sometimes, but when millions of dollars came up in the conversation, I would kind of get nervous and I felt like I was kind of, I guess, imposter syndrome. I never really had the confidence to even have a discussion just talking about $1 million properties. But, through enough like videos, like teaching about mindset of like, you could get whatever you want. And that's true. You really can get whatever you want. You just have to believe that you deserve it. Right. And so I started practicing having these $1 million conversations with like $1 million homes. I would call $1 million sellers, knowing that I wasn't trying to get a deal. I literally was just trying to get better at talking about millions of dollars. I wanted, how like when you're on the phone with an investor and like they could tell if you're a newbie. It's the same thing with like millions of dollars. And when it comes to like certain assets that are worth millions of dollars, there's a certain lingo that you have to speak a little bit, certain terms here and there, but also it's just the confidence. So
confidence and tone of voice.
Yeah, for real.
And I will say this, guys, I try to teach as many people as I can. Even if, let's say you suck as an investor, you suck as a wholesaler, let's say you're doing one deal a month. That's 12 deals in a year, okay? How many real estate transactions does the average person do in their lifetime?
I don't know.
One.
Oh, really?
Maybe two. Yeah, you buy your primary home.
Oh, yeah.
This is the average person. You buy your primary home, and then you sell it when you're older, or you give it to your kids, right? So remember, you know more than these people. You actually are the expert. Even if you've done 3 wholesale deals, you're more of an expert than the average seller. So just keep that in mind, as far as confidence goes.
Yeah. And I actually wouldn't have been able to close my first 6-figure deal without Vince, because I didn't know what to do. Well, I got the lead and I was talking to the lady. I made the offer, got the contract signed, but like he helped me find the buyer. He even helped me transaction coordinate between the seller and the title company a little bit. So I always knew, like, I always reflected on that of like how you helped me, and like I probably would have blew the deal up if I was by myself. So it's always good to work with people. Like some places you gotta work with people. Some places you can't go alone.
And there's wisdom in that. I would there's a story of a son who inherited money and he blew all his money, but he earned it back because he started listening to the principles his dad gave him. And when he finally got his money back, he gave his father double to represent that the lessons were more important than the money. So with that said, if I'm in a situation where I know this person is at a higher level than me, I might even take less on the deal.
Yeah.
Because I want the knowledge.
Yeah.
Right? I've come across, guys, they're doing their first deal, and matter of fact, I had this kid, he was doing his first deal, right, with a big time investor, in my opinion. I know this guy personally, and the guy was like, I'll give you 30% of the wholesale fee. There's different schools of thought if it's 50%, 70%. But when the kid broke down to me what the investor was doing for him, I'm like, bro, take 30%. Matter of fact, take 0. Because if you learn that knowledge, you do this transaction, and you have that relationship with that person, that's priceless. Being able to, call each other whenever. We became friends eventually, but it's worth more than that. There's wisdom in knowing your place. And I don't mean that in like, oh, someone's better than you or whatever, but like I show respect, man. When I'm with the heavy hitter, I show respect, man, because I know, and once you get knowledge and experience and age, you start realizing like this shit ain't easy. When I see a man at a nice I'm at a restaurant with my wife, let's say the tab is $300-$400, and I see a guy with 3 kids and his wife, I'm like, respect, bro. Y'all don't know what he had to do to do that.
Provide like that.
To provide, yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna talk about sometimes, just like how you have to pay to be in a room sometimes, like you have to pay to go to masterminds, or just sometimes you have to pay to be in a club or a room or whatever. Sometimes you have to give up some equity in your deal just to build that relationship with a potential mentor or potential friend or whoever, especially if you know that they're ahead of you and they're above you or they're where you want to be. Yeah, it's definitely always worth it to give up some equity in a deal just to build that relationship and to get that relationship started, right? And by the way, I found him and most of all my other mentors just through working. I found him through work. Like I said, I had a deal and like I posted it on Facebook and his dispo guy reached out to me and they were helping me dispo it. We did a JV deal and I was talking to his dispo guy long enough and then I was like, well, who do you work for? Because I'm always learning. I'm like, what company do you work for? Where do you work at? Where do you, I'm asking him all these questions. And then actually we were doing emails to the title company and he was CC'd in it. So I just called him. I was like, who are you? What do you do? You're the manager? What do you do? And I just started asking him questions like I would ask all my other mentors. And I was asking you like personal questions. I'm always doing that. Whenever I'm on the phone with someone, I'm like, I might want to know this person or I think I want to get closer to this person. I just start asking like personal questions, but I ask it in a way to where it's like not invasive or anything.
Yeah, I want to tell you that from my perspective, I was like, bro, what? Like, it was kind of invasive, but I think because the energy.
Yeah, it's all the energy. I know I ask
Yeah.
personal questions.
Yeah.
When I'm talking to somebody, I ask like really, really personal questions. Like you wouldn't just like answer that question that I just asked for anyone, but it's the way I ask. Like you could tell like I'm genuinely curious and want to learn versus like something weird. Like you think I'm trying to like hit a liquor on you or something, you know? But yeah, that's very, very good when it goes to networking up. So back to the other deal. So walk us through, how did you find that buyer? What was that like?
So the way I found that buyer, and one of the best ways to find buyers is through realtors, right? So I go where the property is. I do a 1 mile, 2 mile, 3 mile radius, and I start hitting up realtors in that area. That's how I found that buyer. How I find other high-end buyers is there's a website that shows recent transactions in this specific neighborhood, and I call. And if you don't want to, because a realtor is going to most likely ask for a commission unless they have a deal with their buyer to get paid on the back end. So one way to do it is you look at you go to the 1 mile radius of the property. You look at the property and you see who the owner is of that property and you call the owner directly. But it might be easier to go through the realtor because the realtor already has a relationship, but both ways work.
Really, that's interesting. I hate realtors. It's not like I hate all realtors, but like when I'm looking for a buyer, most of the time I don't go with realtors. They'll try to steal my deal. They don't like wholesalers. They're prejudiced against wholesalers. A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them. Some of them are really great. They like working with wholesalers and they help wholesalers sell their deals, but I didn't know that's how you found that buyer.
Yeah, that's how I found that buyer. So I've done, I think we did an 80K deal with one of my buddies. We split 40K since that deal. I've done 60K bags. And I was trying to figure out where my deals came from, and I finally figured it out.
Where do they come from?
Driving for dollars.
Interesting.
Because there's no, driving for dollars is a list that only you can get.
Yeah, that's true. It is a very, very heavy, it is a very, very good quality list. It just takes a lot of time to get that list.
It's so we do virtual driving for dollars. I can maybe Isaiah. Have you ever done it before?
Never done it.
So basically, get an account with Deal Machine. It's like $99 to $130, and it's basically like Google Maps, and you're just going through the city looking for high grass and weeds, stuff that looks like it's falling apart, stuff that's black, I don't know if you've ever gone to Google and seen an address where it's like blurred out. We pick up those deals, and we've done. We've got some big bags. And another thing, I'm motivated by Isaiah for this thing, is posting content. He posts about wholesaling. I think we should start posting about direct to seller. because I've gotten deals from that. You know, educating the seller, because again, you know more than the average seller. So just a simple answer to a question: hey, what is the process like when I sell my home? Great question. For the first thing that happens, you sign a purchase agreement. We submit it to the title company. We deposit earnest money to lock in the agreement. We have an option period to back out for whatever reason, and we'll close on the close date. The title company is going to reach out to you and ask for information such as your identification and proof that you own the property. It takes 7 to 10 days to get title work back on average, but we can do it sooner depending on your situation. Simple stuff like that, you know, because when somebody wants to sell their home, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to go to Google.
Or Zillow.
Or they'll end up on Zillow through Google because they want to see the price. They'll put their address in, but they're going to start asking questions. Where can I find investors? How to sell my house for the most money? That's a great question. You can answer these for people. Should I list it with the realtor? Should I sell to an investor? You know, those are good educated questions that will get you a deal. The deal I got, I posted a video on what to do if you inherited a property and you want to keep the property, but your sibling wants to sell it. What do? Right? I gave them that information, and because of that, they reached out to me.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. So you got a lead or a deal. Did you close it?
It's in the process.
From YouTube, just making his own YouTube videos. That's pretty cool.
It's free, guys. And one thing I do when I get, let's say I don't have the money I feel like I need to make the next move, I make a list of stuff that I can do that are free. Like, what action can I take that's free? You can shoot a video. You can go to a networking event. They're generally free.
You can call for sale by owners on
Call
Zillow.
for sale by owners by Zillow. You can call your network. What else can you do that's free? You can call your old leads, you know, because a lead that 6 months ago they didn't want to sell, stuff happens, man, all the time. People get sick, God forbid, you know, people lose their jobs, whatever the case, or they're ready to sell now. It's spring, it's summer, whatever. You know, those are all good ways to get deals. You have to be creative, and I feel like of all the students I've had, I start training them, and you know, it's like pushing up a hill, and once we get over the hill, you have to like internalize it, and like something clicks.
Yeah, that's right.
And then you just get it, you know.
That's exactly right. So I teach that. I look for that in beginners all the time when I'm working with one-on-one students. I know, like, from going through the process so many times and having done it myself and helped other people do it as well, I could tell, like, the goal is for them to just get it. Like, once you understand and you're just in the mindset, I'm like, okay, they get it. They're going to get a deal. It's like I don't have to worry anymore because they understand. It's literally just a mindset. Like, but you have to do the actions first, and then, like, your mind and reality will catch up with the actions and the reality that you're trying to create. But, yeah, at some point of, like, hustling hard enough and doing it for so long, at some point you just get it. You just understand. And when you have a coach, they're there to, you know, notify you, let you know, like, hey, you get it now. Or, like, they'll affirm, you know, reaffirm, like, what stages that you're in. Because as a beginner, you don't know what stage you're in. You don't even know if you're close or not or whatever, you know, to your goal. Because you're a beginner, you have no proof of concept, you don't have a coach. So having a coach really helps you, like,
skip steps.
Not skip steps, but, like, really, what is it called? Checkpoint, kind of. What's another word for checkpoint? Milestone. They'll, like, help you to identify the milestones and checkpoints along your journey and progress, right? Because when you're a beginner, you can't really tell if you're making progress. But if you have a coach, you're like, yes, you're making progress. Trust me, you're getting closer. Just keep going. But back to six-figure deals, right? So that deal that we was talking about, that we closed, our first six-figure deal was in $1 million neighborhood. So my number one tip, guys, if you want to do six-figure deals, one, practice having $1 million conversations, and two, target your marketing to $1 million neighborhoods. That's the key. That's my biggest key. That's my biggest takeaway. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm learning and changing in my marketing right now is I'm only doing houses with a tax appraised value of like $400,000 and up, like point blank period. And that's a tax appraised value. You know, anything else is like, anything lower than that, I'm finding like these small deals really give you the biggest headaches. And the big deals usually go the smoothest. Like, that's what I've noticed. Like, all the 30, 40, 50, 60, 100K deals, the sellers were super, super cool, super nice, easy. It's obviously a good deal, so finding a buyer isn't too much of a hassle. You might have to sift through them, but still, the property is locked up, and you're confident that, like, the seller's going to stay with you. That's the thing with these big deals. You'd be surprised, you know? Because, like, I feel like your reality or your mindset can morph into like, this is hard, this doesn't work, if you like keep doing like the hard shit. Like, if you keep chasing these small deals, you're working twice as hard to get half the pay, and it's like at some point you're gonna be like, bro, I don't fucking want to do this anymore. But once you get like that 50K deal, okay, all right, let's do like 3 more of these, you know? But yeah, so target $1 million neighborhoods and practice having $1 million conversations. Point blank period.
Absolutely. And belief, guys.
Belief. Would you say there's any what tip would you give to someone who's trying to just close bigger wholesale fees, right? Whether they're and they don't have the biggest budget either, right? So they don't have like $5,000 a month to spend on marketing. What would you say is a good tip, you know, besides what I said, to get a 6-figure deal?
So what's they have no money at all?
I'm gonna say they probably have like $5,000 to their name, like whatever. Just any tip you want to give.
Besides, well, let's say they didn't want to spend any money on marketing. Is that what we're saying?
Sure.
Just the tips I gave you. The first one is make videos, make content. You know, that is a free thing you can do, right? You have a phone, most likely. Turn it on, make content, educated, informative content. That's a little more long term. I'm assuming this person has a car. Drive for dollars in high-end neighborhoods, right? Look at the old the mansion. You know, you don't want to you don't want to lock up the mansion. You want to lock up the little house next to it. Second thing you can do. Third thing you can do. I'm assuming you could probably afford PropStream or Propelio. It's like $100 give or take. Look for high-end homes and literally call them, right? If you don't have money to pay a code caller or somebody to text, I mean, you can call. You can write letters just with what your budget allows. And back to that self-belief. I don't know what it is, but part of greatness, part of success is self-belief. What percentage of success do you think is self-belief? I'll tell you this, if there's 2 guys equal in strength, everything, and they get into the boxing ring, there's no difference. Same height, same weight, same power, skill level, nothing different. And the guy who has the most belief is gonna win. It's like magic. It's like God force. Like, I don't know what it is.
That's very true. I 100% agree with that. That's very true. The people who are just like, it's not even like a choice. It's like, I have to win. I don't have an option. I have to win. And that on top of like, they're not scared of failing. Like I was never scared of failing. Like, I knew it was a real thing. It was there, but it was just like it was a real risk. Like, logically, like, failing was a risk, but it was like, I'm not gonna fail. I'm not gonna give up.
Matter of fact, if you want to know if you're a real entrepreneur or not, here's a question. Failing wasn't even it wasn't even part of the equation. It was just like, I'm gonna keep doing this till I figure it out. Right?
Yeah, right.
That's that. If you want to know if you're a real entrepreneur, are entrepreneurs born or created? Half and half, but that's the question. Most entrepreneurs, from my experience, start out with, I was young, I wanted a PS1. My parents didn't think that was a priority, and I was like, well, what can I do to get a PS1? I was like, okay, well, I can go cut grass, or I can sell my this or that, and the hustle just keeps elevating. I was like, okay, well, how can I, make $100,000? How can I make millions? Now your hustle keeps elevating.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah, instead of saying I can't, be like, how can I?
How can I?
Be like, I can't. Poor people say I can't afford that. Rich people or rich or future rich, whatever. The real winners are like, how can I do it? How can I afford that? Robert Kiyosaki talks about that, and yeah, I was gonna say that another thing that helped me was to start build an archetype, have an archetype of a type of person that you want to become. So what's the archetype of person that closes 6-figure deals? Like, look them up, the one that you relate to or resonate with the most, and start acting like them. Or like start picking up small habits that they do and implement them into your life, so that you could start believing that you're that type of person that you've been watching, studying, or whatever, the person or the archetype that's at where you want to be. So for me, that person, one of those people is Alex Hormozy. I like how he's a nerd about business. He's a big nerd about business, and he's very, very boring, and he talks about hard work and like perseverance and pushing through. And that type of personality attracted me because he's obsessed with business. And I want to have that type of personality, that type of character trait within me that's obsessed with business, obsessed with growing the business, and obsessed with making money. Not in like a greedy sort of like, I need all the money now, and like a type of way, but it's more of like, I want to build an empire. And it's like straightforward, like nothing special, like I'm going to build an empire. This is my thing. So start studying people that you want to be like, and start implementing some of the small habits, daily habits into your life that you see that they do. One of the first people I looked up to was Eric Thomas. I just started waking up at 4 and 3 a.m. because he said he does it. That's one thing. There's a few different things about that I learned since being in Dallas. There's a few things that I learned about making more money. And I'm really kind of thinking about just like the mindset. Because I know like a big part of making a lot of money is mindset. Like you have to believe that you're worthy of it. You have to believe that you're worth it. And you have to like realistically, actually, objectively be valuable.